Okay, thank you. Welcome everyone to the Finance Committee meeting. We'll call the meeting to order. Is there any conflicts of interest?
Seeing none, sir.
Seeing none. Approval of the agenda?
Sure.
Okay, moved and second. Thank you, Councilor Duffy. Adoption of the minutes from March 9th, 10th, 21st, and the 23rd. They're attached. Okay, thank you.
I'll move it.
Move, thank you.
Second.
And second, that's great. We'll move into tenders. The first one is the 2022 Municipal Street Sweeper.
Yes, so we received 3 replies to the tender, and the information's attached, the supplier, the price, and what their total score was. But the resolution, it's resolved that as per the conditions of the request for quotation for 2022 municipal sweeper, the submission of Saunders Equipment Limited in the amount of $299,950,000 plus all applicable taxes be accepted, and that this work will be carried out under the 22-23 Public Works Capital Budget Program. So the city recommends awarding the purchase to Saunders as their proposal had the highest score in accordance with our scoring system. The proposed street sweeper is the same brand as our newest street sweeper, which has been an excellent addition to the Public Works fleet. The city has worked with this vendor in the past and have no concerns with their proposal.
Okay. I'll jump in. It's not low bid again. Like it would be nice to see the RFQ where it says, you know, they're rating on specification, service, and warranty. Like I'm thinking warranty on the vehicles would be very similar if they're the same machine. Like a car warranty would be very similar across different manufacturers. But again, I'm always a little concerned when it's not low bid. But anyway, I'll leave it at that.
But as far as the specifications go, just to respond to that, Mr. Chair, as far as the specifications go, it's a 51 out of 54.
Yeah, I know. I'm just curious because they're trying to say that the service and the warranty are worth, you know, a certain percentage, 54%. But so the one, say, on the low bid, is their service and warranty that much less than the manufacturer we're going with?
Want us to see if
I don't think he is. Yeah. I just, and maybe we could get that, and maybe everyone's okay with it. It would help maybe justify a higher price. But anyway, that's just me. Where do we? Your worship.
Councillor Ramsey or Councillor Duffy, I don't recall discussing this issue. Did I miss something
Public Works?
on this?
That's with that,
Yeah.
with that one.
It was talked about it probably.
To move up here, just to move up here?
Yeah, pass it through here.
But again, if you wish to defer any more information that in your possibilities.
Mr. Chair, so we want to have our machine compatible. Why do we go to tender?
Exactly.
Let's just phone up, let's call Saunders and say, Saunders, we liked what you gave us last year, send us another piece. I don't know the purpose of tendering if we know the specs, and we know who can provide those specs. You know, if you're in the industry enough, like if you're in this, like with the boom truck business, there's an industry level. There's specs that allow trucks or cranes to pick up, you know, whatever you need to pick up, how versatile they are. Same as any piece of equipment. So if we already know the specs, why are we going to tenders? I think we should defer and get more information on it. Ask Mr. Adams to come in.
Mr. Chair,
Councilor Duffy.
excuse me, the 3 areas of consideration for the specifications, price, and total score, like where the middle guys, Saunders, they excelled really highly. Like they're 30 points ahead of cubex in the total score issue, you know, they're within 3 marks of cubex on the lower side on the price, and like they're 3 times on the specifications aspect to like where they win, they win really big, and where they lose to cubex, it's minimal. I understand what you're saying. I understand that, but you know, 30 points spread in total score, and 3 times the price on the or 3 times the score on specification. So.
They're talking about that third one, catch, not the first one, if you compare.
Pardon?
If you compare 2 and 3, is what they're saying, 249 versus.
Karcher and Saunders.
But Carter's 31 out of 54, whereby Saunders is 51 out of.
Okay. Those are the 2 that they were.
Okay, oh, I see, okay.
And when they say the specifications, Council Duffy, I guess it would have been nice to maybe have a sheet, like, if the high bid provides, say, a 10-year warranty, then
Yeah.
sure, that's worth something. And if the low bid provides a 1-year warranty,
I
but there's
understand.
no information, like, I don't know what we're
Yeah,
buying for more money.
And Mr. Chair, you're looking at a $50,000 difference, so Nancy, 50,000 of 249, that's, what's the percentage increase? Would it be 20%? So 15, you know, there's a 15% difference in price difference.
Well, Mr. Chair, I think at Public Works, when this was brought up, the manager in Public Works was very comfortable going with Saunders because of their last machine they purchased from them, and they had no issues with it. I think that was one of the reasons why they were pushing for Saunders.
And
And
that's.
I understand that.
And that's fair, Council, but it goes back to the mayor's point. If we're so comfortable, then don't bother going up to tender, wasting everyone's time.
Exactly.
So what we can do is that we can defer the risk account and send out a note to all the committee, and if you're okay with the extension of the note, you can go forward, if not, come back.
I'll move it through.
Okay. So we have a deferral, second by Councilor Ramsey. Okay.
And Nancy, just, Mr. Chair, just to get an understanding, can we look at the specs that we're asking and the specs that the 2 lowest, actually 2 lowest are cubics and Karcher? So if you don't mind.
Not at all. So my expectation then is that I will contact the manager of Public Works, have him provide that information. I will send it out in the next day. I'm just concerned
Right
about,
now, it's been deferred, and so until the committee releases it, it's still deferred, so they'll come back at next week.
okay, that, I think that might just, that may raise a concern over the timing, because it is a
Street sweeper.
that'll be required
Well,
soon.
Just get more human street sweepers out there.
Okay.
So we will get the information as soon as possible.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and again, you may want to apply the same to the
Well,
ones I'm about to
I know.
read.
This,
So the wheel loader, this is, it's to purchase a wheel loader complete with a versatile front plow, 2.5 CYD bucket and construction forks. But anyway, there again were 3 quotes. No, sorry. There were 3
Three quotes.
quotes. The city recommends awarding the purchase to Tormont Limited, as their proposal has the highest score in accordance with our scoring system. The proposed loader is a good brand of machinery, and the fact that Tormont is the only local service maintenance provider with a physical location on Prince Edward Island, which is very close to McAllister Depot. This will help us reduce any downtime with this machine, especially during winter storms. The city has worked with this vendor in the past and has no concerns for their proposal. So that the conditions resolve that, as per the conditions of the request for quotation for 2022 wheel loader, this is the submission of Tormont Limited in the amount of $317,000 plus all applicable taxes be accepted and that this work will be carried out under the 22-23 Public Works Program. And again, you see we have quite a spread on the price, so.
Like, are we paying because it's close to McAleer Drive? Like, you can't, like,
So in their evaluation, Mr. They would factor the service component, how quickly things can be done. So I would presume, being that it's the only one with a operation on the island, is that the service means that should there need to be some, there would be more expeditions than we thought. So that would, if that's the case, that would have factored into their analysis.
it's, like, where would we take the other pieces of machinery to get
Alpha,
fixed then?
Alpha, you have to take it offline. Or they send a service truck over. Brant Rooney lives there on Paragus Mead. Brant, I think, does the service call on site of the contract.
I thought we had mechanics on staff.
Two original officers, the sheriff and their maintaining their current fleet challenges. We are trying to secure a couple more mechanics to take care of them.
Good luck.
And many times, just a further point, and many times under a warranty, it has to be a licensed dealer that provides the service.
I guess, again then, if that's the case, then maybe we just say, you know what, don't bother bidding if you're outside a 5 kilometer radius then or something. Like, it just, anyway, whatever you guys,
Because we have questions with regards, I think that if we can reach out to the manager, we can defer these. Just have him come in.
I would ask, please, just to get more information. I know with Alpha or ALPA equipment, I'm just on the website now. There's no, it runs with Nova Scotia. They're usually at, most times they're at the road builders annual meeting, whether it's Prince Edward Island, it runs with Nova Scotia, Newfoundland. And Brand is again, I don't think Brand has a physical plant office, but Tormont does. It's a land cap.
So what we do is we can try to get him on the phone, Mr. Chair, if you want to deal with the other ones, I'll try to get him on the phone here and he can answer any questions of the.
yeah, we can if the committee wants. Like I say, it's just between those two, it's the $90,000, right? That we're always wondering where the money's coming from. Like, okay, well, let's just the next one may be easier. Let's just leave that one until we get them on the phone. Okay, the backhoe
Okay. So,
service.
Backhoe and truck hire for culvert
Yep.
services. So, we're running into the same thing here, Mr. Chairman, with pricing. There was 3 quotes received, 82, 148, and 238. The quote specifications indicated an expected 37.5 hours of operation weekly for minimum 16-week period of 600 hours. This would put the total value of payments in the range of $50,000 to $70,000. The department has worked with the low vendor in the past and anticipate no issues.
Yeah.
So,
This one's at least low bid.
Let's leave it alone. So what is their purpose of this? Like, what is their job, their job for this? Like, we're renting this backhoe and everything, right?
Backhoe, truck hire for
And a truck.
and a truck, right. So if you were to look at the request for quotation, the truck versus the backhoe rates are shown separately.
Okay. Any questions on that one?
It's just to add to what we do. Medical crews can't do all the culvert replacement. This is what he's brought in. And it's low bid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
You're okay with that one? Okay.
Finally hit dirt.
Yeah, finally get dirt.
Finally got one.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
The Short Street Extension Project. So, I think we were given the,
It's in there. It's in the package.
On the back of the, right there.
I have that. There's the-
Oh, this one here?
Yes, yes.
Request for proposal,
Right.
what you're looking for.
No, that's playground equipment.
Oh,
So, I'll just,
wing it?
I'll just wing it. Well, we do have a background up here. The provincial government tender, in 2021, the provincial government tendered the St. Peter's road work, which included the widening of the roadway and the installation of a concrete median and a number of roundabouts. As a result of this work, access to the Terra Heights neighborhood was limited to a right-in, right-out only. Both Public Works and our Emergency Services Department are concerned about access to this neighborhood, especially during an emergency situation. The city identified that the best solution for this matter was to extend Short Street and construct a 100-meter-long section of roadway to connect Terra Heights. Based on the layout of both neighborhoods, it was always intended that these areas would connect via this corridor. Last fall, staff took these concerns to the provincial government, who agreed to help the city with the situation by negotiating with the contractor of the work, Island Coastal Services, to extend the unit prices from St. Peter's Road construction project to construct the Short Street extension. So please note the following. Due to a significant increase in asphalt prices, staff have determined that all asphalt paving will be completed under this year's annual street resurfacing tender. This agreement was made last year while all equipment was on site. The city will need to compensate for the demobilization of equipment, which has been included in this price. And it is standard for the provincial government to perform their own site layout and testing of road materials. As such, this will be an additional cost to the city to have the contractor carry out this work. This additional amount has been included in the price. So as per the Short Street Extension Agreement, the submission of Island Coastal Limited in the amount of $78,000, not $78,910.50, plus all applicable taxes be accepted, and that this work be carried out under the 22-23 Public Works Program, or Public Works Capital Budget Program.
And last week's in the report is that the city and our design consultant had reviewed the prices and believe it is a good deal for the city. Price to the paperwork is lower than our original estimates. And as such, it is a council board of
So this one bit?
So this is a carryover from the provincial contract for the three
Right.
groundworks. They committed to hold those prices to do this work.
Terra Heights, your worship?
Terra Heights is just up by Mel's.
Oh, yes.
Coming in, it's the first, last right before you go into Mel's.
By the old church?
If you're heading east, coming into Charlotte.
Yeah, it's this, right
See,
after
Terra Heights
Great
now,
Drive.
Terra Heights now, you can go around, if you're going east to
Yes.
Morel, you can go around take the roundabout, come back in, it's the first right.
Right, okay. I just trying to get you, I just trying to see where it was. Okay.
Mr. Chair, I just asked Nancy, I think I may have the capital budget open. Did we not budget that to be a higher price for sure?
I don't have that.
I think that's what-
online.
I think that's what Mr. Kelly was saying.
Yes.
Your worship,
What's that?
I was just trying to track down.
I
This
think-
price was lower than the estimate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an add-on to ICS, because Island Construction's doing all the work. Are they allowed to do that?
So that was.
Or they have to go out to tender again?
That was negotiated last year, Worship, that the province agreed that this would be an add-on to that contract.
Okay. It's all right to do.
They held those questions.
That's a provincial.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm good with that.
Okay, thanks, Councilor Ranch. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
There's two in the four now.
Yeah, we're getting here. Playground equipment, there was 2 bids. Nancy, we don't have to read all the
Yeah, that's a long
No,
resolution.
just-
Sure.
Again, some of them there was only like one bid depending on the playground structure. I guess really the only one would be the first one that the higher bid is, the higher price is getting the work by about, you know, $600. But everything else seems to be low bid.
I know we budget for that too, Mr. Chair, for playground equipment. But at our last Parks and Recreation Committee, we know we're not gonna be getting all that equipment this year. We're still waiting to receive last year's. Who else on Parks and Recreation? Oh, your worship, you know. And that was the thing, that was the question that the chair asked too. He said, so where are we at with playground equipment? And they said, well, we're still trying to receive what we get. What we ordered last year. And I know you gotta get these orders in because everybody's running short, correct? All over the world. But,
We don't know when they were ordered last year either.
no, I can't remember when they were ordered. So anyway, it's just, what's the total cost? 20,000?
No, it'd be more than, well, that's for one piece.
Yeah.
So the totals for play power is 107,000 and for test days is 182,000.
And do we not always deal with power play or play power? No, but that was the only thing that was brought up at Parks and Recreation, in fact, last week, is that we're still receiving, are we not, Mr. Kelly? Of last year's?
Yes.
Yeah, so we are behind,
Good.
right?
They're behind, it's up from what you just got to this year's.
Yes, and he figures it should be 2 or 3 months before everything's all done?
Correct.
Yeah. That's what I thought. But anyway, it's.
Okay, so are we okay with playground equipment going forward?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess my point, Mr. Chair, was is that they're trying to get it ordered now. So we hope that we're going to be receiving it for next year. So
Okay.
same as the steel and everything along that line, right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll go to 5B, pending review. It's the Confederation Landing Boardwalk rebuild. Obviously, we didn't get any bids on that. It's
Right.
old.
Just a little further information, Mr. Chair. The RFP was posted April 13th and closed on April 27th. There were no bids received. It is hard to say why there's no bids submitted, but it probably can be attributed to the following factors. A smaller project, the cost of materials, a labor-intensive project, and contractors are being more selective on the projects they are bidding on. In the capital budget, there was $67,787 allocated for this project, which based on the current market would probably not have sufficient funds. So in a conversation with the manager of Parks and Rec, they are going to review how they will proceed in getting this work done, so.
And what section are we looking at? I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
Sure, go ahead.
What section are we looking at?
The Federation Land Board.
Yeah, I thought it was, oh, your worship, do you know?
What's that?
What section are we looking at for the replacement of the boardwalk? Is it
Well, I
down
think
where?
it's on the south side of the HMCS Queen Charlotte Arms.
Yeah,
And it's not there, it's just on the south side of Paul Daddy's condos.
right.
That's the section, that's the area.
That's the area around that area. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so,
So no bids?
no, no action on that. That's going back to Parks to be reevaluated, see how they're getting the work done.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I do have the manager on my phone, the speaker, the answer.
Sure.
Can he phone me, Mr. Kelly? No, that's all right. Go ahead.
Right there, Scott?
Yep, I am here.
Okay, can you just stand by? And there's a few questions in regards to a couple of the tenders.
Certainly.
Hey Scott, thanks. I can start off here. It's just Jason. The first resolution that come up was with regards to the street sweeper and the not going with the low bid. We were going with actually the highest bid. And I know you have a scoring system, and I was just curious when we get in, it says like this, where the specification, service, and warranty, like, I was just looking for a little bit more of a breakdown, like, are we paying for like an extended warranty on this piece of equipment, or I guess what are we getting that would kind of justify the high bid as opposed to going with the low bid if they meet the specifications of the tender?
So that's the issue. The low bid did not meet all the specifications. One big issue was the water tank that's onboarded. We typically require an 800-liter tank. That allows us to do all our work for the entire day. The low bid was 200 liters. So right there was a big issue, because now you're having a piece of equipment that you have someone going back and forth multiple times. My apologies, just 1 second here. If you have to keep going back and forth 4 or 5 times a day to fill up the tank, then we lose a lot of production during that day.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And so in the specifications, did we say it had to be a certain size tank, or are we just going with the biggest tank that came in?
No, like again, we had the minimum standard. We said 800, and that was the other 2 bids said they have the 800. Just the low bid did not have that. And then there's other features that other specs in terms of the sound in it. Like we are very conscious of how loud it is in the cab, because we don't want a loud noise when there's a big vacuum behind you. It can be very loud for individuals, and one of the challenges is their cab was exceeded the decibel level that we had spec for in terms of meeting that requirement as well. So there are a number of little things that just they did not come even close to meeting our minimum specs on.
Okay, does anyone else have any questions on the street sweeper then?
I'd like to ask the Karcher. Is it Karcher or Cratcher?
Correct.
Scott, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
It's Philip. So, Scott, the Karcher is a well-established, it has a lot of history in doing this work. Did you say that it would be noisier than what you're recommending from Saunders?
So the cab, yeah. So like they do sound tests inside the cab, and I'm told we've done research on what a good level of sound is inside that cab, and they did not meet that requirement for what we put in that specs.
So then you'd wear so the operator would have to wear air protection.
Correct. Yeah. Which, to wear your protection all day long driving one of those things would also be not the most comfortable thing.
Right.
The other thing was the water tank too, you were supplying.
And again, there are a number of other things that I don't have all the notes in front of me to go through, but there were a number of things that they just lacked on in terms of specification. It just was not the machine that we would be looking for in terms of to do a satisfactory job that we think it can do, that we're looking to do in the downtown area.
Scott, Kevin here. Our last machine came from Saunders, did it not?
Yes, that's correct. The current our newest machine is a Johnson, which is the same brand as this one. I guess they changed company names, but the same brand, and just a smaller unit than our big one that we have.
Okay. And we had no issues with that one?
No, we have had no major issues other than your typical maintenance that we have to do, and the odd, they replace the brushes on it and such, but no major issues with it at all.
Thank you.
So are we okay in the street sweeper one? Okay, so,
Could I just ask?
Yeah.
another- So, did you say it was a Johnston piece of equipment, or Saunders is the dealer, right?
Saunders is the supplier, but the brand name, and I cannot think of their current name, they just recently changed names, but it used to be Johnson.
So it's not Ray,
Sweepers.
is it Raymond?
It could be. I can't think of the top of my head. My apologies.
So, Scott, as we were discussing this earlier, why are we going to tender when we know the specs we want? And we just might as well follow up with the supplier that has provided good service. The equipment is stable, it's reliable, or do an invite tender?
Well, really, the nice thing about the tender process, we don't know all the players in the game. We don't. We didn't even know Karcher even had a commercial grade street sweeper. We had no idea. So that's why we look at what our needs are at the city, what equipment that we previously had, what works well in that equipment, what doesn't work well, how can we improve it, and then that's how we create our specifications for that piece of machinery, and then we go with the public tender to see what equipment can meet that need and meet those specifications. And with, like I say, without going to public tender, we don't know all the vendors on all the machinery. There are always new companies popping up from time to time, and we wouldn't know that without going through the tender process.
So, Mr. Chair, just one of them. So, Karcher, we have some of their equipment in our inventory, do we not?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
I thought we had the Karcher with the sweeper in the front.
Pardon me?
Do we not have a Karcher with a sweeper on the front, or what brand is that? The one.
No, currently our two sweepers are a Johnson and a Ravo.
And a what?
And Ravo, R-A-V-O. They're a European brand.
Thank you.
okay, thanks, Scott. And then the second one, just while we got you on the phone, was the loader for better.
Yes, front loader, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
And we looked at this one too, and had some. I'm sure I figured you guys have some questions on it, so please feel free to ask.
yeah, so I guess I'll start off. It was just my concern was between the low bid and then the one that you're recommending. Like the one we're recommending, it says that it's local service and maintenance provided in the physical location close to McAleer, which is fine. But is that kind of what we're paying for, as opposed to kind of going with the low bid? Because there's a difference of about $40,000, and if you look at the total score, it's only one point.
And that was I had this discussion with my staff as well. On paper, the equipment looks comparable. We're not familiar with Hyundai, but they seem to be a reputable brand. So they scored very, very well on the specification side of things. Where they lost points was actually the service side. Their nearest shop is Moncton, which is not ideal in terms of these are the workhorses of our snow fleet, right? We use a lot of loaders for our snow clearing winter months. And our concern was, and that's why they lost a lot of points in service, is because they did not indicate either if they have mobile technicians. So our fear was, if in the middle of the winter we have a major breakdown and we have to truck the loader off island to Moncton, could be a few days till we get it back, and then the house has to be trucked back. So there's additional shipping costs that would have to be paid for if there's major upgrades or major work that we are unable to do in-house. And then there's the downtime on that. With the CAT dealership, why they had full marks for the service was they're right around the corner, and they also have mobile service trucks that can be deployed within an hour, I believe, of them calling. I can't remember the spec or how they wrote in the spec, but that was where they lost all the points. Essentially, CAT got full value in there. I think it's ALPA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Got 0 points in that section just because those two comparisons. And really, it's really these, again, we look at it from a winter perspective. That is when the most pressure is on this piece of equipment. And to lose such a piece of equipment for an extended period of time, it could be quite, makes it a lot more difficult on our winter operations. So that's why they lost all the points. And again, at the end of the day, they ended up just a point different. So because that's how the scores work, and a point different, and that's how we wrote it, is, most points would get the value. That's why we recommended Tormont Cat as our recommended loader.
Okay, I just kind of wonder, are we wasting everyone's time if we're gonna get off-island bids and them not be able to provide the service, anyway, any questions on the loader?
So just on, Scott, on Brandt, do they have a shop here in Charlottetown, Brandt?
I don't believe it was in Charlottetown. I believe they have a dealer in Summerside, if I'm not mistaken, that does it. And they have mobile service department, I believe. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I believe that it just, from my memory, is what was in the tender package.
Runs in Nova Scotia, right? Alpha, ALPA. No, that's the other one. Scott, so if that's an issue, Saunders, the one we just discussed there with the Johnson, where is their shop in Charlottetown?
So they don't have a shop locally, but they have mobile technicians.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Scott, appreciate
No problem
it.
at all.
Okay,
All right, take care.
thank you.
Stay safe. Stay healthy.
What are you gonna say in a year's time, everybody's safe and healthy? What's your motto?
Be respectful.
Yeah, I'll agree with
Be
that.
kind. Be
Okay,
patient.
I second that.
we can circle back, I guess. And if a little bit, the tank size would have probably saved ourselves 20 minutes, but he said he's not sure if the other company had mobile technicians, right? But the first company does. Are we allowed to pick up the phone and ask them, throughout the process, or you just don't get scored?
If it's not put in the document, I think they try to make it as fulsome as they can, and they normally don't call, from what I understand. It's up to the bidder to make sure they provide all the information.
What you looking
That's right, and we couldn't call a bidder and give them information that was not given to the other bidders. We would have to do it in the form of.
As an addendum.
No, I guess the Saunders has mobile technicians, right?
That's what he said.
Exactly. But the next company, he's not sure if they do. Well, if they do, maybe we would save ourselves $40,000.
And is that Brandt?
No, it's that Alpha one as opposed to
No,
Torrent.
Alpha does.
No.
Alpha's, I know Alpha. They're off on. I don't think they have a.
He had said that they would have to truck them.
You would have,
Okay.
Yeah,
you have to show the other side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, it's more or less a New Brunswick, Nova Scotia company.
Okay.
What they do.
All right. Street sweeper. We got all our information now. Are we okay with the recommendation from Public Works?
Yes.
Okay. The loader. We got all our information. Are we okay with the recommendation?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We can move on, Nancy, to. We're at 5B, Simmons Sports Center, closed the end of April.
Right, so it closes the end of April, and the proposed work includes, but not limited to, it involves the supply, fabrication, and erection of structural steel frames, all structural primary and secondary framing, walls and roof, and other components associated with this phase of the work relating to the construction of the arena and the pool. And it's all to be in accordance with the requirements of the specifications and drawings listed on
So
the,
they're going to make evaluation now, that's what's going on now.
that's right.
Okay.
This is just for information.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is information only.
Could I ask a question, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
How many bids do we get?
That I do not know.
Find
But
out now.
we'll, yeah, sure, yes.
And they would want to provide that when the document comes, very much if they would They would indicate how many bids we have.
Could I just ask, is this for GC, the general contractor, or is this the first component of 5 or 6 components? It's just for the steel?
Well, the part of the description is tender package 1, so I would assume it's the preliminary structure and so on.
Okay, so this, we just want to make sure we get our steel over it before we do anything else. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we're okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
5C, these aren't closed. Sidewalk construction. Like again, that's just more of a information, right? Okay. We're okay there?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. The hourly backhoe higher rates, that's not closed yet. It's still out there. Okay. The grass cutting closes on the same day, obviously.
Mr. Chair, do we hire people with the grass cut?
You can contract.
And some-
I always thought our staff did.
Staff to the majority, but in some areas, they don't do the contract.
Parks and Recreation Board.
Yeah, and the tender will indicate the properties that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I didn't, no, I just thought that, like our summer staff and all that, always did it, our seasonal staff. Don't
Okay.
ask, you don't learn.
No? So we're okay? St. Peter's Road and Belvedere Roundabout closes May 9th. We're okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect, thank you. Any new business?
See, no,
See any? Okay. I just need a motion to move into closed session as per section 119, subsection E.
sure.
Okay, moved and seconded. That's great.